Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening on a Wednesday. Exciting day today, Heidi. You know why?
Why?
We got a lot of great stuff to talk about, and we've got a fun guest as well. Going to be visiting with the author of A Fearless Heart, How the Courage to be Compassionate Can Transform Our Lives. And this is pretty cool because this is a guy who's been the translator for the Dalai Lama for 30 years. So that's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
Get that going for us. So it's trying how that goes in Groundhog Day. So he was
Got that going for me, which is nice.
No, but what was it? He was like, he was the caddy for the Dalai Lama.
The Dalai Lama, and when he dies, he will regain total consciousness. He said there will be no tip, but when you die, he will regain total consciousness. And he goes, so I got that going for me, which is nice.
I'm trying to decide, do I ask him anything about that? It's not the Dalai Lama. It's the Dalai Lama's translator on today's program. So it's kind of fun. And tomorrow I'll have Gina Davis's hairdresser. I'm just kidding. I won't really. Like I could hook up some interview like that. Hey, if you think you're getting too much homework, don't bother whining to your parents about it. A new survey finds most parents say their children get just the right amount of homework. And most teachers agree. Do you agree, Heidi? We have kids. Do they get the right amount of homework? They never bring it home.
They never bring. I wouldn't know if they have homework ever or not.
They never bring it home.
Last night, though, our daughter had homework.
Oh,
and she was asking us questions.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because she said, what is law? I was like, what? She's like, what is law?
She's like, what's the scientific definition of law?
Scientific term, or what the term law, what does that mean scientifically? I'm like, I have no idea.
Yelled, Troy!
Yeah, our son's 18.
That's our son. And then he comes out and she asks him. He answered it right away.
He said, scientific law, it means it has been proven beyond a reasonable doubt. And he walked back in his room.
Goes back in his room. And then about 2 seconds later, she asks us another question.
What is theory?
And we're like,
Troy! We don't know nothing. Well, it says there's some interesting results from the poll. In addition to this, they found that less educated parents spend more time helping kids with take-home assignments, and the most affluent parents spend the least amount of time. That means that it sounds like we should be affluent.
Like we are brilliant.
Well, no, not brilliant. Affluent.
Well, we're not affluent. We're definitely not affluent. But we're not. What was the first one? Are we?
It said least educated.
Least educated.
Yeah.
We're not educated.
Yeah, they spend the most time.
But we don't.
There you go. Women
I don't think they asked very many people when they did that study.
Women spend about 46 minutes a day helping with homework. Men spend about 35 minutes a day. A majority of parents and teachers also agree the subject that the students need the most help with was?
Math.
You got it. How did you know that?
Because math sucks.
No, math doesn't suck.
Oh my gosh, it's awful.
Here's my problem. I think we should just learn basic math and learn it really well. They've got this really complicated math that... When are you ever going to use that?
Exactly. Never.
Unless, of course, you're going into a field that uses that. And then here's a crazy idea. Teach them at that level.
Right.
And you could even have it where if they want to know more, there will be some elective classes. But, there are classes now that are not elective. They're necessary. Like, you need to take them.
To even just graduate.
I get a headache
ridiculous.
even thinking about it. All right. Hey, it's a Wednesday, and we've already talked plenty. We will be back in a bit with more on the John and Heidi Show for a Wednesday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVWheelator.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
I am excited to hear your take on this story, Heidi.
All right.
Two different companies, one in Maine and one in Florida, are making some machines that are a new fad in seafood restaurants. They combine the claw game, remember that? Where you'd put the money in and you'd pick up the stuffed animal?
Yeah.
With lobster tanks. So for $2, you get a chance to grab a lobster. Yeah. If you do, it's cooked for you for free. But it's even harder than a regular claw machine because the lobsters
lobster can move.
Yeah, they try to elude the capture.
Yeah.
The makers say it's just good fun, but PETA says it's absolutely hideous to turn animal cruelty into a game.
Oh, good Lord. PETA, shut up.
So here's my question. PETA, are you upset that they're catching them with the claw or that they're cooking and eating them?
Right.
Because they've been doing that for years.
That's been happening forever.
So I do understand what they're saying is, it's ridiculous that they're turning it into a game, but they were just reaching in and grabbing them before.
Fun.
That's why I wanted to get your opinion on this.
I don't have a problem with that. It's not like the claw hurts them. It wouldn't hurt them any more than just picking them up.
No.
Which they've been doing forever.
But this is where they're making it into more of a game by having you fetch them with the claw.
So everybody likes games. Except for PETA, apparently.
Not everybody. All right. Coming up in a bit, we're going to talk about a pizza delivery driver that was assaulted in Fargo, North Dakota. We're going to tell you why. That's on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Do you remember the movie Fargo?
Yes.
We watched that movie. Did we watch it together or did we not watch that together?
Yes, we have watched it together.
Because it was an interesting movie.
It's bizarre.
It is very bizarre. And for those of you...
Definitely not one of my favorites, for
those
sure.
of you who've watched the movie, you might wonder what I've wondered. Why did they call it Fargo when only like 3 minutes of the movie took place in Fargo? Shouldn't they have called it Brainerd? Wasn't it in Brainerd, Minnesota, most of the stuff? Anyway, a pizza delivery driver in Fargo, North Dakota. No wood chipper in the story, so you're safe. He says that he was assaulted after he refused to take illegal drugs as payment for the pizza he was delivering. That's not good.
Oh.
The driver said he thought the suspect was asleep when he arrived. After knocking a few times, he called the man on his cell phone. He finally did answer the door in his boxers. He then took the pizza and spent a few minutes looking for money until he finally gave up and said, "Can I just pay you with marijuana?"
Whoa.
That's when Yasin, he's the driver, said, "I either need the money or the pizza." And the man began to yell. He then pushed him and punched him in the face. Aww. Officers who arrested the man said he was intoxicated. Oh, imagine that.
Yeah, what a shock. I did not see that coming.
No. Here's the thing I don't understand. Why would you assault somebody when they know you have illegal drugs sitting right there?
Exactly.
Did this guy think there was going to be a happy ending to this? Like, I punched the guy and he went away and never heard from him again.
Exactly.
No,
that's
not going to end that way. All right. So that's in Fargo, North Dakota.
That's
Coming
too
up,
bad.
we're going to talk about a different story.
You know what? It's got to be very dangerous to be...
Oh, yeah. A delivery person?
A delivery person, yeah.
I wouldn't really want to do that. I know in my hometown, there are several pizza delivery people who are off-duty police officers, which I always thought was interesting. Like, they're police officers during the day, but then they worked at a pizza place in the evening. And I always thought that was fascinating because they're going, door to door delivering pizza, seeing things that you probably wouldn't typically see as a policeman. Right. I always thought, well, that's kind of an interesting side job.
Yeah.
So, but I can also tell you, I don't think they're afraid to deliver anywhere. Because go ahead, try to assault me. I know what to do. All right, we're going to talk about a dude that commits a bit of a moment of duh. We're going to chat about that on the way on the John and Heidi Show for a Wednesday.
This is John Stossel. Anything that makes it harder for you to speak limits your life. So if you or someone you know stutters, you can call the Stuttering Foundation for help. 800-992-9392.
You're listening to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
A man pleads guilty to drug possession, but he kind of maybe shows just how smart he is in the process here. The cops said it was a drug bust, but James McClain said it was just debris from a sandwich. The Bellevue, Illinois man was arrested.
Just what?
Debris from a sandwich.
Okay.
They arrested the man on drug charges after he was stopped on a routine traffic infraction. Police searched his car and found a suspicious-looking plastic baggie, what they thought could be drugs. The suspect argued it was just breadcrumbs from a sandwich. Police did not go for his excuse for whatever reason. Apparently, it didn't look like that. Upon advice from his lawyer, he pled guilty and went to jail. But after 18 days, the lab test came back on the drugs in the baggie, and guess what? They really were breadcrumbs. The judge dismissed the charges, and the process blasted McCain's lawyers for allowing an innocent man to plead guilty. The lawyer told him plead guilty. He went to jail. When the whole thing was said and done, he's like, it's breadcrumbs. I don't care what you say it is. It's breadcrumbs. So maybe they should have tested him sooner.
Yeah, they should have tested it first.
How could you not? Now, it's not that I'm like a drug
But if he
person.
pled guilty, they probably didn't
like.
have to go through a big long trial and stuff. So I mean, he just said, "Okay, yeah, I did it," and had to go to jail.
18 days in jail.
I would be furious.
That was in Bellevue, Illinois. So.
And he can't sue them because he pled guilty, so he can't sue anybody.
I don't know. Well, I'm not saying he should sue anybody anyway. I'm just saying it just doesn't seem right. Coming your way in a moment. Guess what we have?
What?
The world famous Scoop of the day that is on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1 plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Time now for the world famous scoop of the day, although I just got a call. I cannot legally call it world famous scoop of the day. They've never heard of us in Istanbul. I can't call it that. Almost world famous. The scoop of the day brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. If you're looking to get a smoother shave for just $3 a month, and that includes delivery, so it's $1 a month plus $2 for delivery.
Yeah, and you get a whole package of blades for that.
Yeah, the whole package
That's
of blades.
awesome.
And if you'd like to know more, go to dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, your scoop of the day. Authorities in India are hoping to find the person who robs businesses for their toilet paper. That's terrible. Over the past few months, a dozen or so small businesses have been broken into after hours, and all of their toilet tissue has been taken. They don't take anything else. These thieves are really, really into toilet paper. You know, you can buy a 4-pack.
That is so weird.
For about $1. Isn't it about $1 for a 4-pack?
I don't know.
89
I don't buy
cents
4-packs.
on sale?
I haven't bought 4-packs forever.
Well, but I'm saying, they go on sale. I've seen them. They're like $1. So why would you go to jail for that?
Yeah.
And if you do end up going to jail, imagine explaining to everybody else why you're there. So what you in for? Killed a man. What you in for? Stole some toilet paper.
Totally wiped him out.
I'd have gotten away with it, too, if it wasn't for those kids and that dog. Well, a new app is helping teachers turn cell phone distractions into a solution. According to the company reminds... The company Remind? Oh, I see. According to Time Magazine, I thought they were the company. According to Time Magazine, the company Remind makes mobile software that lets teachers blast announcements and homework assignments to students and parents through an app powered by the cloud. Teachers can send out reminders about an upcoming test. They can issue study guides to absent students. They can even conduct real-time quizzes using the app's two-way messaging system. It's kind of cool. And because parents get their kids' assignments as well, it helps to make sure the kids are more accountable for their work. This is kind of an interesting idea.
It is. It really is.
So it's called Remind. So I want to check that app out. Hold on to your hamburger patties because the Hamburglar is making a comeback. Oh, we just talked about this 2 weeks ago.
We did just talk about the Hamburglar.
Yeah, we'll have to chat about that when we get done talking.
So are they getting rid of Ronald and bringing the Hamburglar
Can you
in?
listen to the story and I'll explain. According to ABC News, McDonald's is officially bringing back its promotional Hamburglar character to network television for the first time since 2002. There are kids today that have no idea.
It was still around in 2002?
2002.
I thought they got rid of him in the 90s.
He was gone for a while, then he came back in 2002, or came back whenever. But I remember the 2002 campaign. Officials from the chain say McDonald's new premium limited time offer, the sirloin 3rd-pound burger, happened to be just enticing enough to bring the Hamburglar back into the public eye. Now,
I liked the Hamburglar.
We talked about this on this program a few weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago, whenever it was, because we were talking about, I said it was like Sheriff Big Mac or something, and I was completely wrong. Yeah. Somebody reached out and said, can you please let John know?
His name is the Hamburglar.
No. They said, can you please let John know it's Mayor McCheese?
Oh, yeah.
I had no clue.
Yeah, because we remembered the Hamburglar.
So it was like, and I was thinking it was like Officer Mac or something like that, but it was, it was Mayor McCheese.
Right. It was the mayor.
And we talked about Grimace, and we were trying to figure out what Grimace is.
He was apparently the guy that likes shakes.
Yeah, he wasn't a shake. He wasn't a cone. He was just a guy that liked shakes.
Yes.
So everybody else was a character that was based on a food item, but Grimace was not, according to the expert caller who let me know that. All right, a Florida mother held hostage by her boyfriend used the Pizza Hut app to notify police she needed help. According to ABC News, we're getting a lot of stuff from them today, aren't we? Cheryl Treadway and her children were being taken at knife point, or being held at knife point, and she was eventually able to persuade him to let her at least order pizza using her Pizza Hut app. Along with her order of small classic pepperoni, she wrote, "Please help, get 911 to me." She also wrote 911 hostage help. Pizza Hut employees notified the Highlands County Sheriff's Office, who then went to the woman's home.
That's awesome.
I don't know if they delivered the pizza on the way or if that maybe never showed.
That's brilliant. I think that's fantastic.
She did get help. That is. And I'll tell you what, using the brain, right there, that's using your brain, finding a way to get the help you need. That is such a cool thing. And we end our program today the way we always end our program, with a strange law. Guess what this one is?
What's that?
In New York, the death penalty for jumping off a building is death. So if you jump off
In
a
New
building...
York, the death penalty for jumping off a building is death?
I'm sorry. The penalty... I snuck the preview in there.
Yeah.
You'll get the death penalty if you jump off a building in New York.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, sorry about that. So that is quite the interesting concept. If you jump off a building and it doesn't kill you, the penalty is death, and they will kill you. So,
interesting.
Isn't that kind of what you were going for in the first place?
Probably.
All right. Well, there you go. I appreciate you listening to another fine edition of the Scoop of the Day, brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Check them out, dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Thank you so much for listening on a Wednesday. I have an author on the telephone line here, Thupten Jinpa, PhD, a former monk, and he holds a PhD from Cambridge University, where he also worked as a research fellow. Jinpa has been the principal English translator to His Holiness the Dalai Lama for nearly 3 decades, and he's translated and edited numerous books for the Dalai Lama, including the New York Times bestseller Ethics for the New Millennium, Beyond Religion and Transforming the Mind. Today, we're going to be talking with Mr. Jinpa about his very own book, A Fearless Heart, How the Courage to be Compassionate Can Transform Our Lives. Mr. Jinpa, thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. And thank you for having me on your show.
Well, we're really glad to have you here this morning. And I've got a copy of the book here, A Fearless Heart. What a beautiful book, I got to say, first of all. What was the inspiration to write this book, Mr. Jinpa?
I think the main inspiration is to really wanting to make a powerful case for why compassion matters in our lives as individuals, but also, as society. And also one of the inspirations is the tremendous success of the mindfulness movement that I've noticed in contemporary culture, and how the society on the whole has been very receptive to the message of mindfulness. And I feel that compassion is really the next step. And I feel that the time is perfectly ready for bringing kind of compassion into this larger, kind of discussion about how can we educate ourselves, how can we educate our younger generation particularly to cope with a world that is increasingly getting smaller and interconnected, globalized, but also technologically very wired and also very challenging and complex.
Again, on the telephone today with the author of A Fearless Heart, How the Courage to be Compassionate Can Transform Our Lives, Thupten Jinpa. And Mr. Jinpa, when people think about compassion, sometimes they're a little fearful of compassion. Now, why is that?
Well, that's because, we bring resistance to compassion and hinder the natural expression of compassion on our part. And one of the important messages that I bring in this book is that, compassion is something that we all have naturally. It's part of our natural instinct. The question is whether we allow that part of ourselves to express in our everyday interaction with loved ones and the world around us. That's the question. It's not something that compassion is not something that we need to learn new from outside, or something that religion needs to teach us, or something that school needs to teach us. But on the other hand, because of the highly competitive nature of the society and the way in which we grew up, where we were constantly evaluated and judged and compared against others, we feel afraid that if we are too kind and too compassionate, people will take advantage of us. People will see us as pushover. People will see us as weak. And so that's the kind of fear that we bring in. And sometimes we also fear that even in parents' relationship with their young children, if parents fear that if they're too kind and compassionate to their children, then they may have to do everything for their child. The children may never learn to be autonomous. So that's another kind of fear that we bring in. And then sometimes we fear grips us because compassion involves opening our heart and extending the hand and reaching out. And sometimes we are afraid we might get rejected and And are we able to cope with that kind of rejection and disappointment? So then we shrivel and we take the easy route, which is to just close up. So these are various kinds of fear that we bring into our engagement with others and world, which then obstructs the expression of our natural compassion.
Again, visiting with the author of A Fearless Heart, Thupten Jinpa. Now, I'm looking here on the information. It says that you feel that if we have more compassion, it will help us turn our intentions into motivation. Tell me a little more about that. That fascinates me.
In everyday English, we often use the word intention and motivation interchangeably, but actually they're not quite the same. Motivation is, in a nutshell, the reasons why we do certain things. And intention has to do with having a particular goal. And, one practice that I would really recommend everybody is to, as much as possible, bring compassion into your conscious intention in your life. And as much as you are able to make compassion part of your conscious intention, and then this intention will, over time, shape your more subconscious motivation, so that when you react to a situation, a challenge in your life, you will do so not out of habitual negative judgment or critical self-critical kind of thinking, but out of understanding, out of tolerance, out of acceptance, and out of kindness. So that's something we really have a chance to do this. We can, by bringing conscious attention to compassion, making it part of our intention, we then shape our motivation so that our behavior gets transformed.
Very nice. Now, for those of you who are intending to buy this book, we're going to tell you how you can do that right now. Where can we purchase a copy of A Restless Heart?
It was released on the 5th of May. It should be easily available on Amazon. And it was published by Hudson Street Press, which is part of the Penguin Group. So if you cannot find any in the locality, you can also visit the website of Penguin Group.
Very nice. Well, find it wherever you like to buy books. Go to your local bookstore and purchase it there. If you cannot find it there, take a look at one of the bookseller websites. Again, Mr. Jinpa, thank you so much for taking the time to visit with us this morning.
Thank you very much, and thank you for giving me access to your audience. Yeah,
definitely. We're glad to have you. Again, the book is called A Fearless Heart, How the Courage to be Compassionate Can Transform Our Lives. Available where books are sold. Go out and find it. If you'd like to win a copy, we have one that we're giving away on the website winthisonline.com. Go there and register. It's free to sign up. We'd love to make you a winner. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.
Hi, it's Jewel
and Kelly Pickler.
Lung cancer is the #1 cancer killer of women.
So we've joined the American Lung Association's Lung Force
because it's going to take a force of women to create new hope.
Please join us.
Fight lung cancer in women at lungforce.org.
You're listening to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Got a fun story to share here in a moment, but first, today is a special day, Heidi. You know what today is?
What is today, John?
Today's Wednesday, the 13th day of May. Only 227 shopping days until Christmas.
Jeez.
That's all. What?
That's a bit early to be talking about that,
I always like to make sure. You've never noticed we talk about that almost every day.
It's insane.
All right, every day that I remember to do it. Today is also Frog Jumping Day, so that's kind of cool. Celebrate by reading a little Tom Sawyer? No. What book was it? A Mark Twain book that has the frog jumping story. Today is also Donate a Day's Wages to Charity Day. We have to calculate what a day's wages are. That's kind of cool.
Can you give negative numbers to charity? I don't know if that's possible.
Can you guys send me a check?
According to it's donate your wages to charity day. According to my calculations, you owe me 28 cents after taxes.
It's also National Night Shift Workers Day. Wouldn't it actually be Night Shift Workers Night? They kind of sleep through the day.
Yeah, they're missing their day, which is unfortunate because they're sleeping.
National Third Shift Workers Day. So if they're not working all night, they might be third shift. And it's Receptionists Day. So there you go. A lot of stuff to celebrate. And I'm going to leave you with a story today. Authorities in London County, Virginia are searching for a male would-be bank robber in women's clothing. They say a 6'3" man entered the Washington First Bank last Tuesday in a dark wig, white gloves, and a flowery dress carrying a purse. He handed a note to the teller implying that he had a weapon. She refused to give him any money, and he walked out empty-handed. I wonder if he took his purse with him.
That was quick.
Yeah, I have a weapon. Give me your money.
No,
I'm not gonna. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to go then. There you go. Coming up, we got a fun story here that we're going to be talking about a man who, remember the song, I Would Walk 500?
Yes. The Proclaimers.
He's going to have his own version of that, but he would walk 600 miles, and he did. Going to chat about that. It's on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Pretend like you're a loving parent for a moment.
Okay.
Is it hard for you to imagine that?
Not at all.
No, you are a loving parent. She's got, a daughter and a son? Is that right?
I do.
Yeah, and I also have a daughter and a son.
You do.
Coincidentally, they are the same daughter and son because we are married. But how far would you walk to see your son or daughter? If you were going to go see them, how far would you walk? Do you have a mile limit?
I don't have to. They're in the house.
Yeah, it makes it really easy. But one man walked over 600 miles. He did not have bus fare. Here's a case of true fatherly love. A 72-year-old man from China walked more than 600 miles over 71 days to visit his son in prison. Well, he knew the guy wasn't going anywhere, so he had that going for him.
He knew he was going to be there when he got there.
The poor guy had planned to take the train, but had his money stolen shortly before leaving home. He begged along the way and sometimes had food from the garbage can in order to survive.
Oh, my gosh.
It was a 2-month journey. He said, I didn't see him for 2 years. I'm here to visit him and tell him not to worry about me and transform himself for good while in prison. Prison wardens were so touched by his story, they even bent the rules to allow him to see his son. The son, I don't know how to say the name, Xiefei. X-E-F-E?
I have no idea.
Revealed that his father is actually his adoptive father. He said his real parents died when he was just 10. He said he adopted me and he loves me very much, and I have nothing to repay all of this. The return home was a little easier. Prison guards all chipped in. They bought him a train ticket.
Oh, how sad is that? That is just such a sad story.
It's very sweet that he went all of that way, 600 miles by foot, eating out of garbage cans to make it. That's just really nice that they gave him bus fare to get home.
I hope they find the people who took his money.
Here's my question. While he was gone, who fed his cat? I'm just kidding. It doesn't say that he had a cat.
I was going to say, how'd you know he had a cat?
I'm being silly. I'm trying to bring some humor to this. Otherwise, it's just a little too touching, and I'm going to cry.
Now I was thinking, now he's going to go home. His cat's going to be dead. I was like, poor guy.
All right, we got some interesting stuff from Florida we're going to chat about. That's on the way. Thank you so much for listening. On a Wednesday, it's the John and Heidi Show.
This is John Stossel. Anything that makes it harder for you to speak limits your life. So if you or someone you know stutters, you can call the Stuttering Foundation for help. 800-992-9392.
You're listening to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Land O'Lakes. Around here, that's ice cream, right? Or milk?
Butter is what I think of.
Well, that's the name of a town in Florida. I didn't know that.
Oh.
Land O'Lakes, Florida. Substitute teacher Jim Piculus was fired from school. Officials accused him of performing wizardry. Let's explain what that is. The so-called wizardry in question was nothing more than a simple magic trick where he made a toothpick disappear before his students. The school district's Pat Sinclair, that must be the guy in charge. I don't know. It doesn't say. It just says the school district's Pat Sinclair terminated Jim over the phone. He said, "You've been accused of wizardry." Jim says he's both amused and...
That's the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard.
He says, I'm both amused and frustrated. I've tried to explain to Sinclair that the trick was merely just a little magic trick, saying, I don't know what you're talking about. It's not black magic. It's a toothpick. The trick was a simple hand maneuver that made the toothpick seem to disappear when it was merely hidden beneath Jim's thumb. Oh, he had to give away the trick. You never give away the trick, Jim. Come on.
Oh, that's
a real black magician, black magic practicing wizard would never give away the trick. The assistant superintendent, Renela Du Bois, said the other accusations was merely one of many factors that led to his termination. He said that this is not the only thing.
So this isn't the reason.
Other incidents involved him diverting from the lesson plan, allowing students the use of computers despite the disapproval of the regular teacher, and putting a fifth grader in charge of the classroom, apparently while he was performing wizardry in the men's room or something. I don't know. So there you go. He was let go in Land O'Lakes, Florida. Wizardry.
That's a bit extreme, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm going to perform some wizardry. Watch this. I'm going
to. That
make
was apparently just the toothpick that broke the camel's back. So
watch this.
Can't blame it on that.
Look at my thumb. Woo!
Yeah, I see that.
It's a little wizardry for you.
Very impressive.
If we had a webcam, you would all be impressed right now. Either that or completely unimpressed. All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVRealtor.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Treats can poison your dog. That is the title of this story. So if you have a dog, listen up. We have 2 dogs. Most pet owners know that chocolate is a big no-no for dogs, but here's something to chew on. A common ingredient in sugarless gum and snacks can cause a canine catastrophe.
Who gives their dog gum? Can you imagine a dog chewing gum?
Trying to blow a bubble. Got a cut in my whiskers. Can you help me out here? The culprit that we're talking about here that could cause your canine catastrophe is a sweetener called xylitol. While you may have never heard of it, there's a good chance you have some right now. Xylitol, starts with an X, by the way, is a common it's common in sugarless gum and sugar-free snacks. The chemical is completely safe for humans and many other animals, but in dogs, xylitol causes blood sugar levels to plummet. When blood sugar drops, the brain is not getting enough energy to do its job. After swallowing xylitol, dogs may get very sick. They may become lethargic and they may become disoriented. With treatment, your dog could actually die from xylitol.
No more big league chew for the puppies.
They're going to be so disappointed. They like blowing bubbles with that stuff. You should see where the bubbles come from, though. All right. Thanks for listening on a Wednesday. In a bit, we've got a story here about a guy that went to jail for stealing doggy doo. We're going to chat.
We've talked about that many times.
This is a different story.
Are you sure?
It is.
Because you've told me that story on the radio 3 times.
This is a different story, though. It's an epidemic. It's coming your way. Thanks for listening on a Wednesday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
All right, we've talked about a story from the state of Minnesota where somebody stole
a pickup that was filled with
dog poop out of a truck. Well, this one's from Bristol, England. So this is not the same story.
Okay.
Crown Court in Bristol, England has sentenced David Carlisle to 4 years in prison. For what? Attempting to steal doggy doo. He had stopped a woman who was walking her dog, threatened her with a knife, and demanded the bag she was carrying. She told him the bag's just full of dog droppings that I've scooped up. Well, he fled empty-handed. He pled for mercy in the courts because I only tried to steal dog excrement. The judge says...
but you didn't know that at the time, man.
That is just a testament to your incompetence. That's what the judge said.
True that.
That is a judge that I would like. That is a testament to your incompetence.
They get to talk that way in England.
I think some of the stuff they say
wear
is
those awesome wigs and they get to talk that way in court.
We should wear those.
We should just wear those while we're doing our radio show.
I'm saying.
I think we'd sound more professional if we had one of those wigs.
Well, we have one more break. Maybe we'll get a wig out. No, I won't really. I don't even know where I'd get a powdered wig. They actually look quite uncomfortable. I haven't even noticed.
I don't know.
We watched Fish Called Wanda.
That's
your favorite movie.
It is my favorite movie.
And in there, Archie was wearing one of those wigs.
Yes.
It looked so uncomfortable. It looked kind of... It doesn't look nice. Is it supposed to be, like, attractive?
I don't think it's supposed to be attractive. It's a tradition, so they wear them.
It's a weird tradition. So. For those of you listening in jolly old England, pip, pip, cheerio, and top of the morning to you and whatnot. Bob's your uncle, whatever that means. We've got more to chat about, I'm sure. Oh, yeah, it's on the backside. We're going to chat about that coming your way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVRealtor.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
A story I've been holding off for all morning long.
Okay.
This is either brilliant or completely not brilliant. But it's one of the two. Advertising. It's everywhere, right?
It is.
Everywhere you turn, you're seeing advertising. And it's about to get out of control. A California company has begun paying drivers up to $400 a month to cover their cars with advertisements. They're called auto wraps. They're already covering cars all over the West Coast. And now in Florida, you must be at least 18. You must drive a minimum of 1,000 miles per month. And you meet a long list of requirements, including no moving violations. I'm out. Oh, during the past year. I'm in. I can do that. You have to sign up to a 5-year contract. But if you cancel after a year with 30 days notice, you're okay. And if you're wondering if drivers get to choose the ads that are placed on their cars, the answer is no. However, you can refuse ads for alcoholic beverages and cigarettes. So knowing my luck, I would say, hey, $400 a month. Strap me on with one of these drive-in advertisement things, these auto wraps. And I'd get some terrible thing like, Tampax or something I'd be driving around. Hey, it's the Tampax guy.
Bright pink Tampax
Not that those
car.
things are not needed. I'm just saying I wouldn't want to be the spokesdriver.
I would do
for
that.
them.
I would totally do that if they offered that in this area.
I don't know if they do, and I don't
I'd
care
buy
if
an
they
older
do.
car that needs some body work or something anyway, so it
pretty
doesn't
sure
matter if they wrap it.
This list of things you must qualify. I'm pretty sure if your
Gotta
bumper's
be a
dragging
nice
behind
new,
you.
I'm not saying like falling apart, but like a, I don't know, $5,000 car, $6,000 car, and let them wrap it. I would
That's
do that.
nicer than anything we own. What are you talking about?
No, it's not. Not anymore. It was a couple months ago.
Well, if you'd like to know more, it's called Auto Wraps. I suppose you could probably jump online and find some stuff there. Should we talk about what we have in our bonus break today?
Sure.
I've got a couple of things for the bonus break. For those, we're wrapping up our radio program, but we started a podcast. When did we start this? 2 weeks ago? Week and a half ago? Something like that?
Has it even been
I
that
don't know.
long?
Whenever
I don't
it was.
know.
We started it recently. It was in the month of May. We started this podcast, and no, it wasn't. It started in April, end of April. Whenever I don't know. I don't know much, apparently. But we always throw a little bonus break on the podcast, so you can go and listen to that if you'd like, and just search for the John and Heidi Show podcast. Archaeologists discovered T-Rex. We're going to talk about his long-nosed cousin, the Pinocchio Rex. Seriously, that's what they're calling it. That's part of the podcast
right.
bonus break. And we're going to talk about some other fun stuff, too. I should have pre-read some of this. I'm just not prepared because it's time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Archaeologists have discovered that T-Rex has a long-nosed cousin that's been christened with the nickname Pinocchio Rex.
Okay.
He probably lived alongside T-Rex, but was a little smaller, only 29 feet long versus the 42-foot T-Rex. He was much faster as well. Of course, it had to be faster.
Well, yeah, if it's smaller.
Smaller, and also with that big nose, people were probably picking on him all the time. Hey, Pinocchio, come on over here. Gone are the days when men relied on their mothers to fill their Christmas stockings with new undies, replacing old holy ones. Apparently, guys are increasingly shopping themselves for colorful, tight-fitting underwear in the same way that women hunt for the latest sexy brasiers. Retail experts say designs are getting bolder and men are becoming more body-conscious about their underbritches.
I think that's fantastic.
I'm trying to think if I've ever. I don't think I've ever purchased underwear myself.
No, I purchase it for you.
But I'm saying when I was a kid, my mother purchased underwear. Mm-hmm. And then those underwear lasted me a long time. When we got married, you're like, are you still wearing these? Yeah. These are my prized possessions I'm carrying
Even
in here.
since we've been married, you keep underwear a very long time.
I don't know when to throw those away.
No.
It's like when somebody gives me a
when
card.
There's holes.
I don't know when to get rid of the
card. That's when you throw them away.
I keep those way too long as well. Mm-hmm. So, and then finally, it appears the world stopped getting warmer quite a few years ago, according to new data. The figures, which have triggered debate among climate scientists, revealed that from the beginning of 1997 until August of 2012, there was no discernible rise in aggregate global temperatures. Think about what happened during that time frame, from 97 to 2012. That is the time frame that people were shouting global warming. Mm-hmm. That started after 1997. But they're saying from 97 until 2012, there's been no global climate change of any kind.
What a shock.
So there you go. And we got a couple quick things before we go. Dean Wilson is wondering, what does it take to get put back in jail? This 20-year-old was arrested from a Liverpool jail on conditions that he was released, rather, from the jail. They said, you need to wear this ankle bracelet to monitor you. But he came frustrated with the device and said, I'd rather just spend the remaining time behind bars. Problem was, the jail said, well, we don't want you here. He returned to the prison. They said, go away. We don't want you here. Then he went to a local police station. They said, we don't have any record of you being unlawfully at large, so you can't stay here either. Finally, after about 3 weeks on the loose with his ankle bracelet, the police decided that they would let him come back into custody. So now he's happily back in prison in Liverpool.
So why didn't he just... I mean, if they said he has to be unlawful to come back, why didn't he just wander outside of his designated area?
He's a good man. He doesn't want to do that. Yeah. He just doesn't like wearing this ankle bracelet. Wouldn't it be funny if they made him keep it on while he's in prison?
You can stay here, but you're not taking that off.
Yeah, we lost the key. Sorry about that. Dean, sucks being you. And our final story. Authorities in London County, Virginia are searching for a would-be male bank robber who was wearing women's clothing. The 6'3" man entered the Washington First Bank on Tuesday in a dark wig, white gloves, and a flowery, beautiful dress, carrying a purse. He handed the teller a note implying that he had a weapon. She refused to give him any money, so he walked away empty-handed.
That's hilarious.
I don't know if he was swaying his hips.
What was his plan?
Don't know. I walked in saying, I'm planning to get some
money.
Give
me some money. No? Okay.
How do they know it's a man dressed as a woman? Maybe it really was a woman.
This is a very masculine woman.
Could be. I've seen women that look like men.
Maybe it was Bruce Jenner.
He looks more like a woman than some of the men that are than some of the women that I've seen.
Yeah, that's true.
But they're saying that it was a man dressed as a woman. How do they know that? There's no way for them to know.
I don't know.
So they're just looking for some manly-looking 6'3", maybe man or woman that was trying to rob a bank in Virginia.
Oh man!
Good luck to you all. All right, this is going to do it for our podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you happen to have some ideas for things that we should be doing in this podcast, because I had one guy that said we should do more in our bonus break, so we did a little more today than normal. But if you've got ideas, reach out to us and let us know. This is still such a new thing that, it's not like it's refined. You may have noticed. It's not like we know what we're doing. You may have noticed. We're certainly open to your suggestions as well. So reach out to us and let us know. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show podcast.